People think becoming a software engineer is one smooth journey. You wake up one day, learn some code, build an app, then boom, Silicon Valley. That's not my story. My journey had frustration, confusion, a lot of bugs that made me question my life choices. And yeah, a lot of Googling. So today I want to share how I became a backend software engineer coming from Ghana. If you are thinking of becoming a software engineer, this might save you some stress. So let me start from the beginning. Like many people, I didn't grow up thinking or dreaming that I want to become a software engineer. Believe it or not, I actually wanted to become a mechanical engineer. I mean, when I was young, I liked computers. I used to work in an internet cafe, so I was always around computers. I liked computers. I knew how to install software, I knew how to install hardware, I knew how to fix some or troubleshoot some simple hardware issues. At the time, I didn't know how software was built, and honestly, I didn't care. All I knew is when I needed something, I just go online, download it, install it, hopefully without viruses, and then use it. I think my first encounter with software engineering was with a colleague from JHS. He used to program Java and he used to build systems for internet cafes and yeah, some small stuff here and there. I think I saw a few and they were very impressive actually. At the time, there was no interest at all for software engineering. Because I have interest in cars, I really wanted to be a mechanical engineer just because I wanted to be able to open a car engine and just do some stuff in there. Skipping to SHS. Oh, and for all those who don't know, I went to the best SHS in the country. I did pure science with biology. In Presec, they had, well, I don't know if they have it still right now. They had a robotics club where they were teaching students how to use, I think it was code blocks or something like that. So that kind of drag and drop interface where you drag instructions and combine them to tell the robot what to do. At the time, that really didn't interest me at all, so I just didn't do it. After school, I did mention I wanted to do mechanical engineering, and the school that was offering that was KNUST, so I did apply to KNUST for mechanical engineering. I applied to Legon as well for IT and computer engineering, and I applied to UCC for computer science and IT. I did some research and I saw that these schools didn't offer the mechanical engineering, but the closest thing I knew I could do and I sort of liked was computer. So I saw computer science and I chose it. When the results came out, I finally got UCC. I honestly didn't like it because we heard that UCC students wear uniform, they go for prep. I mean, I just came from SHS. We've gone through that thing. Why would I want to go through that thing again? But that was all a lie. Most of it.
I mean, low key, we did somehow go for prep.
Before entering the university, I had a conversation with a lady friend of mine who was learning programming, and she told me about how fun it is and how interesting it was. So, out of curiosity, I just decided to look at HTML CSS. After tapping into HTML CSS, I realized that it was not that bad. It was actually nice to see that I have built something with my hands and actually came on the screen. It was actually a nice feeling. So I wanted to move on and I started to learn Python. So I watched a lot of Traversy videos, a lot of Code Academy videos. One of those 1 hour, 30 minutes videos, I was downloading everything. I downloaded PDFs from tutorials point and things like that. It was an interesting time. But that was before I entered the university. So now in the university, the first course they taught us was Visual Basic. And Visual Basic is a bit different from Python. However, the fundamentals, loops, variables, constants. So it was kind of easy for me to learn the Visual Basic. So now my interest into software engineering was growing small, small. Oh, and surrounded by like-minded people, people who also wanted to do software engineering, it also fostered my interest more and more. There were some friends who were also like very passionate about programming, so it also helped boost my interest. It was almost like a healthy competition something. So through my university days, level 200, 300, even I think a little level 100, I built some little apps here and there to practice. I mean, after watching tutorials, you can't just live in tutorial hell where you just watch tutorials. But I actually built something from them. So when I watch a tutorial on something, I understand the concept, then I try and rebuild the same thing without watching the tutorial. Sometimes I get stuck, then I go back and check, but I try to build it on my own. If I get stuck, I try to Google it. If I can't really understand what is happening, that's when I go back to the video and check. A more detailed breakdown of the journey I actually went through is also on my channel. I'll link that video somewhere up here. So now I'm in level 400. I know CSS, HTML, PHP, Visual Basic. I think some C++ because of an audited course that I did. In my other video, I did mention that in level 400, I got contacted by a friend who was in level 300 to build something for his hall, which was the Ogwa Hall of the University of Cape Coast. And we decided to share the work, so I did the back end, he did the front end. Just because I knew Laravel with PHP. So that's why I decided to do the back end so that he'll handle the front end side. I mean, I did help as well on the front end, but I didn't really do much there. He really did most of the front end and I did the back end. So from there, I started to realize that backend was very interesting. I mean, not like I don't like front end. Currently, I do both full stack. What am I saying? Currently, I do both front end and back end. But at the time, I think back end was really interesting to me because I had done a lot of HTML and CSS from level 100 to like 400. So this period, I wanted to go more into the back end. So after school, as I mentioned in the other video, I did sysops at a certain company through a recommendation. But that one wasn't any programming role. So during that role, I was still looking for programming roles, front end, back end, full stack. I saw that there were quite a lot more back-end opportunities at the time. I don't know about right now because I haven't really checked the job markets. But at the time, there were quite a lot of back-end roles, but not many PHP Laravel roles. So I started to learn Node.js because at the time, that's what was predominant. So I learned Node.js. I started to go deeper into the backend development. So I feel like at this point is where my backend development kind of niche was growing. I didn't stop doing front end though. I just didn't do it as much. I also tried to build stuff for people around. So fast forward, I got my first backend software engineering role after the sysops role. And here I got a deeper dive into backend and also actually learned more front end from there. I'm very curious by nature, so even though I was doing backend there, I used to be asking the front engineers what they were doing, how they did this, how they did that, and I'll build something on my own and ask them to review. So this kept building me up in terms of my software engineering capabilities, both front end and back end. But because I was doing back end professionally, more of the back end. So fast forward from that company where I was doing backend, I got where I am currently. I'm still doing backend professionally. I have held a full stack role, but that was for about a 5 month contract. So you would ask, why did I go into the backend more and I didn't like focus into the front end? I don't know. Hold on. I can't say I got into backend because of A, B, and C, but because of the earlier roles I got and the things I did in the backend, I feel that's what led me into doing or focusing more on backend professionally. I still do front end, I still do React, Next.js, front end stuff. However, professionally, I do more back end. But with AI now, you can do almost anything just like that. So, regardless of the one you choose, both front end and back end have their challenges. I personally don't think any are easier than the other, but I feel like the more affinity you have for something, that's where you should move to. But nothing stops you from learning both front end and back end. And depending on the job role that comes, you just fit yourself in there. If you're a beginner and you are now starting the process, these are some tips I want to leave you with. One, don't rush the process. Take your time and know where you want to go before deep diving into anything. You can learn wide. Nothing stops you from learning wide at the beginning. As you go, you get to know what you love more, then you focus in that direction. Point two, focus on understanding, not memorizing. Syntax can be Googled anytime. And with the advent of AI, now you basically don't even need to know what the syntax is. All you need to understand is maybe the logic or the flow of stuff. So don't focus on memorizing stuff, focus on understanding the thing. Point three, build projects, even small ones. I did mention in my other video that in level 200 or 300, I did build a quiz platform for my local denomination to help in Bible studies. So build projects, don't just learn the tutorials, but get your hands dirty, build something. Point four, feeling stuck is normal. If anyone in this field tells you that they just knew where they were going, that is 80 to 95% a lie. Because there will be times where you feel stuck, things are not working, or you just don't know which direction to go to. Whether you should go front end, database, data science, AI, it will get to a point to be very confused, and that's normal. Things will not work all the time. It's all part of the journey. So, yeah, don't quit, stick to it. My journey to software engineering was not perfect, it was not fast, and it definitely was not easy, but it was worth it. And if you are thinking about starting on this journey, you don't need to know everything today. You just need to start. If you are currently on your tech journey, I would like to hear about it. Drop a comment about which stage you are in your software engineering journey. And if you enjoy honest conversations about tech and real developer journey, then do subscribe to the channel. That was all for this one. I'll catch you in the next one. Happy coding.